Bridgwater Carnival, the start of the Big 7 winter parades in November. This was back in 2019. We've had no carnivals as yet due to the obvious. However, in the spring of 2021, Bridgwater Committee received an invite to the biggest parade in the world. It's been fairly quiet in carnival sheds in Bridgwater and indeed across the county for the last couple of years, but that all changed when the Queen's Jubilee Pageant team came knocking at the door.
My responsibility is to dream up the creative aspects of what happens on the 5th of June next year. And the 5th of June is the final of the 4 days of Platinum Jubilee celebrations for the Queen's 70-year reign. The thing I'm trying to do with this event is to show how people celebrate in their various different ways around the country. And obviously Bridgwater celebrates in a very, very special way. And I think it's just going to be so, surprising and delightful and amazing to see the way in which Bridgwater celebrates Carnival on the streets of London, as you say, because I think that not enough people know about it. And I hope that through this event, more people will visit Bridgwater, more people will, enjoy a tradition that just goes back, obviously, hundreds of years, doesn't it? And you know better than me. The visit to Bridgwater was very new to me, and I was honoured to be allowed to see the sort of backstage elements to it, the way in which Carnival is created, because that's different from place to place. But Bridgwater is unique, so there is nothing quite like Bridgwater as part of the celebrations next year.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant news, and I'm sure it will be welcomed by everybody involved in Bridgwater Carnival. It really represents the high standard which our carnival has achieved in recent years. And we're not just talking about the Bridgwater clubs, but all of the clubs throughout Somerset who come and take part in our parade every year. It really is an amazing event that we've been asked to take part in. It's a prestigious event and one which we are absolutely honoured and thrilled to be part of. We're going to have to start from scratch. We are going to have to start building the cart from the wheels upwards, basically. So we're going to have to build a brand new cart, which in itself means that we're going to have to draw on the expertise, the skills, the talents, the creativity and the artistry that's all involved in our carnivals. And we're going to have to draw together from all of the clubs and ask them to come forward and bring us their talents and their skills so that we can create an entry which Bridgwater Carnival can be proud of, but also will be the pride of the town and the county, and will reflect the true nature of Bridgwater Carnival entries.
At a meeting at Bar 27, Chris Hocking announced plans to all the clubs to get their views, and also to see what everyone made of the idea of building a carnival cart to take to London.
Then come the end of June, I was able to go public with everything, and what you're going to see tonight is a result of what's been happening.
The music, the design, the costumes, the dance routine, the timetable of the whole weekend of the Jubilee pageant was laid out for clubs to see. There were chances to ask questions, and at the end of the meeting we all signed up to different departments to meet the teams we were going to work with for the next year.
We've had a lot of interest, and obviously last Wednesday we held a launch meeting with the clubs. That was attended by over 70 people, and the interest was brilliant. And it was also nice because for the first time in 2 years we had different Carnival Club members together talking about Carnival. And I think the timing of when we held this meeting was crucial, because obviously now we've got this big project, everybody wants to get involved and help and pull this off.
I had people coming up to me after the meeting offering help and suggesting new ways and different ideas of doing things. So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, and I'm so enthusiastic about it. And we've now got a very strong team of engineers, costume makers, carpenters, every skill that we really want. We've got a strong team together. One side we really need to focus in though is model making, and we're still working on that at the moment. But apart from that, we've got a good team.
Marketeers Carnival Club Shed. This is where the start of the entry is going to take shape for the Jubilee cart, which at the moment is called Happy and Glorious, but that will soon change.
And then you've got the back box, But that's our way of getting it, pushing the width and the height beyond what we would normally do.
We're building the cart in Marketeer's shed. Tonight we had a meeting where we got all the engineers together to go through the plans of what we're going to be doing in the next few months to get the cart ready, and to go through the plans of how the build's going to progress over that time period and how each of the members are going to be involved.
Starter butter. Here, David, you've got a factory apparently. You've seen the new one he's building.
So it's a great meeting tonight for everyone to look at the design ideas, how the engineering's going to work, and then look at how we'll build it all together to get it finished.
I can get some.
It's not going to be the easiest, but there's a big team of engineers for the pageant cart, so they can be trusted to kind of do what they're doing and all work together. So it's not there's a responsibility, but it's not all on one person because everyone's going to take the pressure off, I think.
Tell us what you have for breakfast.
Now the cat is out of the bag, initially, local media is showing a lot of interest, with TV and radio appearances to unveil the project to the outside world.
The level of interest that we had last week, I mean, we had 21 engineers put their names down. And,
wow.
You know, you've got to build a steel framework first before you can put the wood and the electrics and everything else on there. Well, I was approached in April by the pageant master in London, who asked if Bridgwater Carnival would be interested in putting in an entry into the parade itself. And at that time I was made subject of a non-disclosure agreement.
By the time the cart gets to the end of the route in June of next year, it will have been seen by millions of people in Australia, Japan, Germany, Canada, and even an appearance on Good Morning America in the US of A. But more on that later.
Yes, there's going to be a worldwide audience. Yes, we've gradually raised the profile of Bridgwater Carnival and the Somerset Carnivals over the last number of years. But of course, this will go to a whole brand new spectrum. And I think the biggest challenge we've got is to educate people that we spell Bridgwater with one E.
Easier said than done, that one. With the engineering team in place, the chassis at Marketeer's shed starts to get worked on, with cutting and grinding to get it up to shape to what we want. The last cart that Marketeers built on this trailer was Bad Guys in 2019. They are building a brand new chassis for 2022, which means once they've cleared off what they need, we can use it. But that's a mammoth task. The engineering team are split into two groups. One team are working with kart captain Dave Jennings in his workshop on the outskirts of Bridgwater, and this team is working putting the uprights onto the old Marketeer chassis.
It's an amazing design, absolutely amazing. I mean, it started off with a very short design from Bob Williams from Marketeers, which was then developed by John Holliday and Aaron Whiting from Renegade and British Flag. And then Paul Redmond's taken it over from Gremlins, and he's really come up with some fantastic ideas and able to demonstrate it on CAD drawings, which brings it all to life. It's absolutely brilliant.
Also keen to make a start are the sound team. They need to get the initial speakers onto the bottom of the entry and all the bass bins fitted before too much metalwork covers the chassis.
Well, really, I had a bit of a strange email from Chris asking whether I might be interested in assisting with the sound for the pageant entry. Phoned him straight away to see what actually it was all about, because I didn't really know too much. I said, well, it seems to be a good thing to get involved with after nearly 35 years of being in Carnival. Something special, something new, probably something to get the spark back after this last couple of years of being shut down with COVID. We've managed to get our bass bin sorted out. We went all the way up to deepest, darkest wells just last week, picked up the bass bins. We've actually managed to get one on board tonight. Actually fits, which is a bit of a miracle in the existing metalwork, which is really good, saves a bit of hassle. Hoping by next week to have the main carts all fitted so that all the woodwork and metalwork can carry on. We should be somewhere around about 30 to 35 kilowatt of power on there. Got to remember that when we go up to London, a bit different to our Somerset Carnivals, we're going to have streets that are 6 or 7 lanes wide, and the amount of people and also we've got to sort of make this thing look right, sound right, and be absolutely spot on, because we're selling this now to the whole of the UK plus the whole of the world when we go out in London.
Next door to Marketeer's shed, just a stone's throw across the car park, is the Bridgewater Carnival Committee shed. Normally used for storing signs and props for the winter parades, but for the next few months it's going to become a workshop where the lorry is going to be converted. The project team have purchased a Volvo short wheelbase lorry to pull the cart in June, and a team of people are going to be working to move the driver to the front, make sure all the electrics are up together, change the gear linkage, and make sure everything is safe and ready to go. While they're doing that, let's have a chat with the man who's going to be putting the final touches to the big Jubilee cart design.
Some members from other clubs collared me at an event that everybody was at and asked if I was going to be interested or be involved in it, and I decided that after designing carts for so many years, this would be one to tick the box. I decided to get involved. So I've been designing carts for 30 years. From the Pageant team, we had a list of ideas of potentials that we could use as the theme. So we went through the list and just looking at how we would go about building a cart, the types of things that we would like to see. So crowns, beefeaters, the lions, carriages, just things that are synonymous with the Queen. There was 4 or 5 of us just sat around a table, just pooling all our ideas together. There was similarities between the way different people were thinking. So very quickly we came up with the main synopsis of it.
Next door with the engineers, things are coming along nicely. The uprights are up, the rocking is being sorted. However, we are now at the end of October, which means there are some small events taking place to mark what would have been this year's carnival season.
The club on stage tonight is the Griffins.
The variety show, for 1 year only, is replacing the usual carnival concerts.
Really impressed, little bit surprised with the effort the club's put in, which was far and above everything I expected, and it went brilliantly.
Then comes the big Sedgemoor Walking Parade. Taking place in Bridgwater and Burnham-on-Sea, carnival clubs from across the county were invited to bring a walk-in entry and a small trailer, although some clubs' trailers were on the big side of small.
The objective when we first would do something was to keep things low-key and symbolic. Obviously we had the walking parade this afternoon, which was really well received by members of the public who came out to watch it. Obviously we had the scribbing, and we had the most number of people scribbing ever in Bridgwater for that. We've done a live stream which is just coming to an end now, and that's been well received as well. So I think all in all it's been a good night.
Once the variety show and the walking parades are all done and dusted, it's back to the grindstone. The lorry is making good progress, with the cab having been removed and the driver being moved to the front along with all the electrical panels. The carpentry and woodworking team have started to cut out shapes for the initial carriages and wheels that will spin all the way down the cart. Back to Bar 27 in town, and Katie Williams and her team are holding a meeting for the cast, who are actually going to be dancing to a crowd of over 1 billion.
Like I said, it's planned to start at 3:30, and as Windsor said, it is a daytime parade. It's not going to be dark.
51 and a half.
Yeah, shoulders.
And when you're travelling up to London, you will need either your parent or carer or somebody from your carnival club who is a chaperone to be with you. You can't just shove a 13-year-old on a coach and let them get on with it.
Then we're going to plan rehearsals. Probably the first couple will be all together, just to get morale going, just to get us all listening to the music, all getting involved. But then we'll obviously have to break it down. The cart's ready
For the Queen's Jubilee pageant, I'm part of the performance team, but more specifically, I'm the choreographer. So I'll be in charge of rehearsals, choreography, and then getting everybody ready for the performance. I knew the project was taking place because Chris shared that with our club chairman. And then from that, Chris and I had seen each other at a meeting, and I said I'd love to be involved in whichever way possible in the performance, choreography. And luckily, at that time, Chris was looking for a choreographer, said, would I do it? And I said, yeah. And then the team's grown since then. But yeah, this all went back to June, so middle of this year. We haven't officially finally decided. It's likely to be Celebrate Good Times, but the overtones version. So it's a little bit jazzy, but it's got a really funky section in the middle, which reminds us of Carnival. So it's got a kind of a samba section in the middle. So it's not the old-fashioned Celebrate Good Times. And we think it's going to be that. It might be that with a little something else, but I think it will be Celebrate Good Times. The tricky thing will be selecting who's going on the Carnival cart. It's a notorious thing in Bridgwater that people want to be on the Carnival cart and they want to be front and centre. That will be tricky. This is a really unusual project where there's lots of people who in their own club might be on the front of the cart, but in this project won't be able to because there's not 20 spaces at the front of the cart. So I think once everyone's pushed that to one side and just accepts the project for what it is, I think whoever's near the front will be very lucky, but I think that community spirit will come together. I think that will only be the tough bit, is upsetting people if they're not positioned where they want to be.
Dancing around in winter with hardly anything on, but in summer, hot, it's not going to mix well. So, slight change.
The initial brief was to think of the Commonwealth, think of the Queen's reign. Obviously I was also involved with the design of the cart as well, so I had an insight into what that was going to look like. So the initial designs were based on the cart costumes and to make it match that, and then the task was to make the walking to match the cart. But we've gone slightly in a different direction, but it will all match in many ways. I mean, I've costumed up to 60 people before, but when you've got your own group of dressmakers that know the club very well and know your personnel very well, it's much easier. What we're dealing with is lots of people from lots of different clubs. Dressmakers we probably haven't worked with before, that I'm quite looking forward to working with new people and perhaps learning new skills and knowing their capabilities. There's lots of people that want to get involved, so I've got to share it out so that everyone gets a chance to do something for the pageant. So everyone will have a little job, whether it's cutting out, sticking, gluing, sewing, fitting, whatever it is. I want to try and get everybody to do a little something. Yeah.
Back at Bristol Road, the initial carriage templates have been fitted to the cart to make sure that all the wood and all the metalwork matches. Dave Jennings and his engineering team have brought back the main rocking sections, which have been fitted to the uprights. This will be the basis on which the whole cart will rock from left to right through the streets of London.
That is one long leg, whereas you've got down to here.
Yeah. So because I had bits already made for mine, so. That's going to look real good, man.
With the main cart trailer and generator rocking mechanism in a good place, the Bristol Road engineering team moved from marketeers to the committee shed next door, just to hurry the lorry along by putting up the uprights and getting it up to the same stage. But they've got to be quick, because the lorry is soon going out for its first outing.
Helping where I can, mainly on the towing vehicle up until now, and then we'll start working on coming down and helping out on the rest of the vehicle as well. I think it was October when it arrived. The job's been done very quickly, and as you see from the photographs, it's been done to a very high standard as well. We've had a very good crew, and it's not just Bridgwater people. We've had a couple of guys from Harlequins, Newmarket, Ramblers, and other people helping as well who aren't in clubs at the moment. It's extremely complex, especially with things like the steering. We've had to have several drive shafts put in and angled drive gearboxes and moving the cable, and the other issues also being the gearbox, trying to get the gear linkage to work. Even on the run today, there's a few little for bits of fine tuning needed.
You've got all of them in front as well.
50 people in front just walking away.
Throughout the whole process, the team leaders regularly meet at the Carnival Centre on the High Street in Bridgwater to go through how everything is going.
The generator and a post, it won't be as big a gap which we need to fill with whatever we do.
We would consider, instead of having all beefeaters down the side.
So to make a start on, we made the heads for the lions and unicorns, so they're pretty well there, ready for...
Yeah, brilliant.
You had a picture there, Chris.
Yeah.
If you're waiting, you might as well make the heads for the beefiers, wouldn't you?
and the guardsman. Not waiting. Waiting's the wrong word.
Wait until after we know who's turned up, be measured, and then we can say to the clubs, right, you've got...
I can only put what I can put up there.
Yeah, I know.
Unless we're going to carry it as rope crew members on the shoulders.
Where are you putting on the cart? High?
Yeah, high. Up in here.
How would that work?
Many different restrictions or things being opened up compared to what we're used to building. Lights, dimensions, heights. Just getting the float to London means that we've got to take it under bridges. So the height restrictions mean that we need to actually open the cart up when we get it there. With regards to lighting, there needs to be something that makes it visual coming down the road, but without the normal glare you would see at night time.
I mentioned earlier, marketeers are building a new chassis and they are keen to get on with their cart for this year, for 2022. So a change of building location for us is needed. The Jubilee cart is going to move across town to the Griffin's Carnival Club shed, and this is where it will live until its voyage to London in June.
Working out on the computer the actual throw of the rocket motion of the cart. Used a bit of computer software and managed to work out exactly where it's going to push from and the actual throw of the movement. A bit easier than the old school drawing it and doing it by hand.
Late winter into early spring and the cart is taking shape. The beefeaters have been planned and worked out by Dave Clapp from Gremlin's Carnival Club, and some of the more intricate woodwork is being designed and built. However, occasionally there is the odd breakage. Meanwhile, in another part of the Griffin shed...
So we're fiberglassing parts for the pageant carts. So at the moment we've got the unicorns and the lions, and also the infills for the crowns and the ball on top of the crown. So there's about 6 of us doing it various nights and weekends. It's not very difficult. I've been fiberglassing for a long time. It's very fiddly. You need patience.
Media interest is gathering. BBC's flagship evening programme, The One Show, decided to pay a visit to see how things were going.
Great. Let's get some close-ups and some shots of the guys just sort of doing their thing there in the background. James, could you take care of that?
From cards to costumes to flags. It's great to see communities, young and old, from across the UK and Commonwealth.
Griffin Shed is the ideal place to build the cart. There's so many areas for woodworking and fiberglass and electrics, and with the amount that's getting built, we are going to end up using every bit of space in this shed.
Let's take a look at shots today, look.
It's coming together really very well indeed. We've got all of the steelwork nearly completed. We've got lots of the models underway. We've got the crowns and the beefeaters all coming together quite nicely. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased with the way it's going at the moment. Costumes are going to get together as well. So, yeah, it's all on schedule at the moment.
I'm just helping the engineering team and the sort of metal structure team. I'll be one of the dancing walking team. So I'm a 70s man. I believe they're covering all the decades of the Queen's reign. So I'll be dancing in front of the car as a 70s man. a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know, it's never going to happen again. I know sort of a few generations ago they used to take the carts up to London for the Easter parade, so I never got a chance to do that, so this is an opportunity to do something unique, really. I think we all were getting slightly worried a few weeks ago, but just in the last week, 10 days, you can really see the progress coming on, which is really heartening, sort of gives you a boost to carry on working hard, so it's starting to pick up pace now.
Initially, there was concern that there wouldn't be any spare model makers to get involved. Legendary carnival model makers Bill and Rick Richards answered the phone.
We were approached by the committee as long-time members of Carnival and quite good at making things, so they wanted us to do models for the pageant cart.
We started when we were 15 making models, and we've done it ever since. Well, except for the last few years in Carnival, but we now do it as a hobby at home.
Well, for this we're following someone else's design, but we go away and square up a small picture and then plan it out in large, in full size. So we're doing models here up to 10 feet high. Drawing plans we did were in about October, I think. October? Yeah. And then we cut out the main frames in December. We've done the wire covering and cardboard covering in January and February, and then it was sent to our fiberglass team. They've made it durable with fiberglass, and then it comes back to us. It's a bit of sanding and painting, and then we can paint all our colours, and that's the fun bit.
In a rehearsal hall the other side of Bridgwater, Katie Williams and her team are teaching the cast of 142 the brand new routine.
Sunday, it is going to be manic up in London. There's going to be thousands and thousands of people around.
The routine, I think, is really good. It's a lot harder than other routines we've done. Katie is obviously from Renegades, and they're a very dancey club, so it's a bit of a shock system to some of us. But no, it's looking good, and it does what it's meant to do. It's a celebration, so yeah, it's positive. I'm on the front. Got to get the routine has to be perfect. Everyone has to be spot on. So the main guys have got routine which they'll all be doing, and me and Lewis will be joining in parts of it, and then between me and Lewis we got to choreograph the other bits. So, but yeah, it'll be right.
Things are going well with Katie and her dance team. However, it's been a bit of a slow couple of nights at the Griffin Shed.
The thing is, you're almost at the point where you're going to have to move.
Tonight's been one of those nights which you find in Carnival, where a lot of things don't seem to quite fit, there or thereabouts, but a few tweaks here and there. We fit the unicorn, a few tweaks on that to make that fit, which now we think should be fine. A few tweaks in the carriages and a few problems with a few bits that are going to clash, so it's one of those nights where you feel you're going 2 steps back, but hopefully we've overcome that now. We can start pushing on. I'd like things to be a lot further on, but we're in the position we are. It's going to be some long hours and late nights, I think, to get it done, but I think that's what Carnival's all about. The last push at the end to get it finished.
Springtime in Somerset, and with the metalwork and the woodwork teams happily working side by side for a couple of months, it's now time to bring on the painters and the more intricate carpenters for that extra bit of detail.
I've been doing a bit of model making, mainly carpentry really. Made all the carriages, the lines that go onto the carriages, and now we've just started boxing the main chassis, trying to get it all ready for the other trades to come in behind us, like electricians and engineers, to finish their bits and pieces. So yeah, it's all going well really. It's a great honour to be involved with it really. I think it's great for Bridgwater Carnival and for the members of other clubs, tradespeople that want to get involved in this. It's just real special really, and just when it's all finished, to see it coming up the mile, and just the amount of people that's going to be there and the coverage we're going to get is going to be amazing, and amazing for Bridgwater Carnival.
I don't know about you, but it's always very encouraging when you see things spinning with a bit of spray paint on them. Makes you feel like you're getting somewhere. Right, let's pop back to the dance hall.
And then you join in, everybody's together on that bit right through to the end. All right? Fabulous, right. Twice more, then we will swap over with our other group that are waiting to come in. First, right, over, back, 2 claps. Then again, step, click, step, click. You can't get too overwhelmed with what's got to be achieved because it does sound a little bit of a ridiculous mission, and I think whether I'll regret this, I'm quite relaxed about it. I think everyone taking part is taking part for a very good reason, which is to represent Bridgwater Carnival, and that doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, I'm sure, but it'll be authentic, and everybody taking part, I think, is very excited, so excitement overrides everything else. Well, I'm very excited about seeing the Royal Family, but if I'm honest, I'm really excited and praying I see David Beckham. I'm really, really, really excited about seeing David Beckham.
Some new bits are quite hard that you have to do the routine over more than once to be able to actually pick it up and remember what you're doing. But at the moment, I'd say I know what I'm doing somewhat. We've got 1 rehearsal left, so I'm hoping I know what I'm doing. Before I joined Carnival, I was majorettes, so I have done the whole walk in the route and stuff, but I get to stand on a hoop this time, so I'm fine.
It's great. I missed the last rehearsal, but tonight I really felt and we finished the song. And I'm ready. Well, maybe 1 more rehearsal for London.
It's quick, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah, it's first time dancing in the shoes, so it's a bit different.
So I'm in the 70s.
I'm in the 80s. Yeah, I'm also in the 80s. We've had a few of our hairstyles and makeup come through as well.
In the emails, yeah, it is a little bit nerve-wracking. Yeah. Bridgwater was quite nice and composed, but London.
It'll be a nice birthday treat. It's my birthday, the actual day we're doing it as well. So
I think that's it with regards to stationery. It's been difficult because it's 1 song, but there's 4 dances within the song, really. So the guys and girls on the cart are doing something completely different, mainly because of space restrictions and we can't walk. So there was that dance to choreograph. Then there's 3 parts to the walking parade, and part of that is down to ability and physical ability, because some people really were saying, Kate, I really want to take part, but I can't do really, really fancy things, and we absolutely never wanted to exclude those people from taking part. So there's parts of the parade performance which is simpler for that reason, but then there were some people taking part that were actually very, very capable. So for me, normally I can pick things up and remember it quite well, but I've had to really invest some time into reminding myself what I've taught, because there's 4 parts to the same one piece of music. It's only 2 minutes long, the song.
Now back to a slightly less flexible bunch when it comes to dance moves. The cart is moving out of the shed for the very first time because various bits of metal are needed to be fitted along the back of the cart, including the fitting of the generator set itself. So the Jubilee cart gets to see daylight for the first time. And it's at this point that we realise we've still got a lot to do.
Go for it.
Starting to feel very real now, and someone has to be in charge of the logistics and moving the whole entry to London.
Me and my wife have got to deal with sending off a load of information to the pageant people for security checks, deal with our haulage contractor, which is Wheelers, and sort it out with them to get it up there safely, basically. Like any carnival float, it's never on schedule. It'll be a last minute thing, it always is. No matter whether you've got 5 years to build it or 1 week, it's always going to be a last minute thing. No, never get tired of it. I always moan about it, but I do it year in, year out, and I love doing it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy doing it.
Then in the committees and marketeers.
I've been involved probably only for about 4 or 5 weeks, as the painter's always the last team on the job. Some of us that are in the clubs that are always quite manic in the last few weeks of cart building are absolutely over the moon with how far ahead we are. Some of the people that haven't been out at a carnival shed for a few years are a little bit panicky at the moment, but it's absolutely fine. we're doing a mixture of everything really, hand painting, spraying. I mean, the models are being painted by Bill and Rick Richards, obviously a very sort of classic hand painted blended style, and then we've got several different spray artists from different clubs that are coming out and spraying the cart, so different elements of the cart should look quite different in terms of style, even though they're all done in the same way.
With a little under a week to go, the cart is coming out of the shed to allow the cast to practice dancing on their platforms and to get a real feel of moving and performing on a 100-foot rocking cart.
Straight back. Right hand down. Full right hand down.
Actually looks better now. It's out of the shed than what it was in the shed. Yeah, it always looks different when it comes out, either for the good or for the worse, one of them. But I think it looks better out of the shed than what it did in there.
This is the first time the whole cart has been linked up in a 100-foot line. It's the first time we've rocked the whole thing and spun everything in one go. It gives everyone a chance to see exactly how it will look when it's parked up in Horse Guards Parade in less than a week's time. Of course, there's always going to be a couple of little things that need to be slightly adjusted, shall we say. I don't think that carts would ever get built nowadays if multi-tools weren't invented. All in all, everything's gone to plan, but how did the cast get on?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was a bit of a funny motion, but got used to it. Yeah, good fun. You just kind of like go off into your own little world and forget about everything else around you, and you're just kind of in the moment. Sometimes you look at the crowd, and then sometimes I will days off. just look ahead of me and just focus on a point. Like if I get a bit nervous or anything, I'll just find a point to focus on because it's easier.
All the dancers have gone home and the ground crew have another late night putting the cart back into the shed. There is still lots to do and there's going to be very little sleep, I think, in these final few days.
I'm making fancy platform edges so that they go on either side the platforms. They keep finding me stuff, yes. So that won't finish probably until next Monday after the pageant.
There's 43,500 watts on amplifier power, probably around about 36,000 watts on the speakers. We've got a few things to play with up there, obviously. As everybody knows, we only had it out once in one line. We had a bit of a play, a dress rehearsal. It sounded reasonably there, but there's always a little bit of a tweak here and there to do. The street's nice and wide up there, there shouldn't be too much reflection, so let's hope that it works as we hope it does.
Been here before, so we should be panicking really, but we are all very good at turning something around in a very short space of time, so confident we'll get it done.
Only the very small brackets and fixing things on at the moment, so all the main stuff is doing. It's being tested as we speak, just to make tweaks. I mean, I'm only a labourer, I'm only sort of hands-on, but I think all the main guys are happy with how it's going after yesterday's test.
Jamie Day has the honour of being the driver of the Jubilee cart. It's going to be his job to negotiate moving it round London.
We've worked it out. This year is going to be 30 years. When I was in Weston, I was in Winmarsoo. That's why I started driving at 17. And then I went to Crusaders. And then in 2000, I moved to Ramblers. It's challenging, it's not like your everyday lorry, it's enjoyable. It can be stressful at times, but I wanted to get involved from the start and got talking and they said they had no one to drive, so I basically said I'll be happy to do it. Yeah, like I say, I think once we get to Trafalgar Square, turn left into Admiralty Arch. Once we come through Admiralty Arch and we're on the Mall, I'll be happy.
And told someone you care for. Bit of Matt's bike race, that was. Yeah, we've been on the old fiberglassing since January. So we fiberglassed the heads, bodies of the lions and whatever the other things is called. You know, we've got on really well, you know, we've got a chat, a bit of banter, you know how it is. And yeah, we've got on all right. And I feel like most of them down here, everyone like never worked with each other, they've all got on. I ain't heard no one really arguing or falling out with each other and disagreeing with anything. And some of these boys, and yourself included, have worked a lot of hours and worked really, really hard. To put the effort in to get it to this stage now is unbelievable effort.
The LEDs are changing it from massive loads. We've come down now to very little loads, but the LED is causing other problems. So it's a bit of a learning curve going over from the standard BC lamp to an LED. Yeah, it's not much. Small control gear, motors, obviously things spinning, rocking, and but it's not a lot of electrics on here. But what is on here is trying to get technical, trying to keep it all in time with beefeaters and one thing and another. So there's been a challenge at times.
We're doing the front. We're doing the scroll for the front of the tractor. This is the main one that sits in front of the tractor driver. This is my one day off this week. So this is what I'm doing this week for my day off.
It's been absolutely manic in terms of the media. Hello Magazine's been in contact, the Mail on Sunday, the Telegraph, a German broadcaster, BBC, obviously National BBC, ITV West Country, BBC Points West. The list goes on and on and on. And it's great, you know, the fact we're involved with the Jubilee, the fact we're building a carnival cut for the Queen, it's really appealing.
Putting the first coat of red on, then they're going to be sprayed with some black edging. And they're cutting another 500, so there could be quite a few.
This is the last part of the crest that goes on the front, and it's the bottom part which goes around Duet Mondroit. There's some grass, and then there's symbology for the nations of the United Kingdom. We're just doing little bits now, little finishing touches.
Once you start a project, you're better off getting it done. Once we start going, we want to get it done pretty fast.
We started it 14 months ago, would you believe? And it's now culminated with this fantastic cart, and I can't thank you enough for all the work and effort that you put into it. When we first started this, a lot of people said, yeah, good idea, but you never get everybody working together. You know, you get one club saying we're doing it this way and another doing it that way, and everybody would argue. We've had none of that. It's been a brilliant atmosphere out here, and I think everybody agrees with that. And not only that, but I think we've all made new friends. I certainly have. I've known a lot of you by face. I've not known a lot of you to talk to. I now know everybody out here now, and it's been a real pleasure working with you all.
There's been people at the shed all day and all night these past few days.
Great couple of days, really turning it around. The teams were fantastic in the last couple of days, 48 hours. It's months and months of making a canvas, and eventually you've got to put the paint on it. So yeah, it's spraying can change it dramatically. 2 in the morning. Need that little bit of time when people start to disappear so you can actually get at stuff. Electricians, shippies, welders, all still trying to finish their jobs, and that's the place where you want to get with a spray gun.
That is it. Time has run out. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what is going to London.
Words can't describe what I'm thinking at the moment. It's so amazing. I'm so proud of what the team have done. It's just a wonderful, wonderful representation of Bridgwater Carnival and all that we do in Bridgwater. I never expected anything like this. This has far exceeded my expectations.
Oh, it looks absolutely magnificent. It really has exceeded all of our expectations. It's wonderful. I just cannot wait to see that cart travelling in front of Buckingham Palace. It doesn't get any better for that. A carnival cart for the Queen. Who would have thought that?
Tired, very tired. It's a combination of lots of late nights all coming together. Well, credit the whole team really. I guess the aim is to match the design. They've done that incredibly, from model makers, painters, engineers. It's what we set out to do, match the design, so got to be happy.
Music.
What's happening is all 3 units are being weighed and brake tested to make sure that they meet the requirements of the vehicle special order. It doesn't actually count in London, it's outside our region, but because it's going to be used later on within our region, then we're making sure all the boxes are ticked.
BBC Points West were there to see the cart off, and there was a minor, just slight casualty along the way.
That should be right. It was just a bad bit of road. It's always bad through there with the trees. Couldn't help it. Didn't have walkie-talkies, just couldn't help it really.
No turning back now, it's on the lorries, it's strapped down, it's on the M5, London, here we come.
Super excited. Well, a dream come true for us all, isn't it, in Carnival? To be invited to do it and then see the finished article. Wow, it's incredible.
Also along for the journey are the road crew. We're carrying the top 2 feet of the roof of the cart. This had to be taken off so that it can travel up to London and not be over haulage height. Slight confession, we did stop off at the services for a quick pasty and something else.
And we had a puncher. And to see the lads. Yeah, they've got the fare coming out. They've changed one tyre themselves, but they didn't have a spare for the other one. So the fare's on its way. Should be here in a minute, really.
Here we are in London, and we did wonder if they had any idea of what has just walked into town. The cart is now on its way into London after spending the last 4 hours at Heston Services, being looked over by police and sniffer dogs and investigators, making sure that everything is safe before they bring it into town. This was an unbelievable moment to watch.
She's never drove a forager around. Have you ever drove a forager?
The cart stayed on lorries overnight on the Friday evening in Horse Guards Parade. It's now Saturday morning and the big project of unloading and rebuilding the roof begins. The ground crew are staying in a hotel just minutes from Trafalgar Square. It's about a 5-minute walk to the kart each day, and complete with hard hats and safety belts, the next 24 hours is all about fitting parts together, making sure that everything works, everything spins and everything lights. Nothing can be left to chance. Now, luckily for us, we have some words of wisdom from the main man in charge.
We can't read or write, but that don't really matter, because we used to come from Somerset and we could drive a tractor.
At the same time, in the marquee next door to our lineup spot, Sam and her costume team are making sure that everything is perfect for when the cast arrive at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Doing my favourite job, ironing. We've done all them there. I don't know how many, is that 20? I don't know how many to be honest, I can't count. I'm in a 10 with an iron. I'm a woman of a certain age, I'll have you know.
So we're offloading all the costumes this morning, going through them all, making sure that they're all tip-top condition. Obviously the police checked them through yesterday, so they've turned up a little bit worse for wear, but it'll be just general repairs if there are any, and ironing, make sure that they are pristine.
With everything connected and tested and spinning, we had a little bit of reflection on the moment last night when the cart made its way into town.
Yeah, it was a special feeling last night when the crowd, the police had everything stopped and we just rolled straight in through. Everyone was gobsmacked just looking out. They couldn't believe what they were seeing as it come through. They just couldn't believe what they were seeing, you know, and the crowds that were there was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Again, out comes the multi-tool. I think we brought about 3 with us at the weekend.
I've put the socks and the shoe rosettes on, and we've asked them to put the ribbon bows around the hats as well. 384 bows around the hats, and 24 of the little ones and 24 of the big ones.
This is how it should look, with the sun shining on it.
There was a moment a crown may have fallen off on the way and scratched a bit of your paintwork. Are you all right with that?
No. No, we're not all right, but I see you've repaired it. Anything that's break, as long as it's repaired, we're happy.
It's now Sunday morning. There's been a lot of hours spent on the cart, and there's a few tired faces around Horse Guards Parade. The cast of 142 are now arriving, with just hours to go until we take to the road.
Yeah, pretty nervous to be fair. It's quite a big ordeal, isn't it? In front of the Queen, hopefully.
And you're on the front?
Yeah, on the front. I'm real. So if I go wrong, everyone's going to be watching, aren't they? Everybody is nervous today, but I think it's because obviously we're used to doing it in Bridgwater and Somerset, and we know our hometowns. But to be doing it with parts in London, isn't it? Like, it's unreal, really. So yeah, I'm very nervous.
We've tried to sound out a bit. We had a bit of a hiccup yesterday. One of the amplifiers didn't switch on due to the power of being able to get things here. We've actually managed to get a new amplifier all the way from Somerset up here today, so we can actually get it all working properly. We've done a little bit of sound check around about 5 o'clock last night, which went reasonably well with the Wurzels.
Hair is being done, costumes are being put on. However, it's a Platinum Jubilee pageant. They need patriotic makeup.
It's gone really well. I had to do more than I thought, but it was absolutely fine. I didn't stress, and everyone looks really good. Oh, I mean, there's 142 performers with us. I reckon I've done at least 60 of those. A lot of people did themselves, which was really helpful. But yeah, it was a team effort, you know. But yeah, I'm glad it's done. They're literally getting on the cart now, and I've just finished, so we timed it all right, I think. So, yeah.
In the hours leading up to showtime, no less than a dozen TV and radio interviews have taken place, with the cart being filmed for Belgian, Australian, Canadian and German television, no less. But one of the biggest spots of the day, a live appearance on Good Morning America, going out to millions of people across the Atlantic. While all the media stuff is happening, on the other side of the cart, the marshals are talking through the road crew, making sure that we all know what time to leave, what time we need to be ready, and what time we've got to turn the front wheels to pull out of Horse Guards Parade.
As soon as you leave here, you won't be getting off until you come back in. All right?
Road crew captain Dan Cullen has a meeting with each of the team from the cast.
Oh, sorry about that.
With the cast having their meetings, now it's our turn.
Jamie won't move unless Baz and David have given him a thumbs up. Both of them got to do it. I'm sure you two can handle that. Don't worry which done. We will come and find you. Jamie will stop dead. When it comes to moving off again, purposes, you've got to hit the stop button, the red emergency stop button. Hit it. One for you lot. Then mate, there he won't be here now, will he?
Good speech, Dan.
After various photos and selfies with the cart and a quick look round at the competition, it's time to jump on board. I've no idea why they are laughing. I think they look exactly the same. After a year's work, thousands upon thousands of hours, very little sleep, it's time to make a bit of history.
Bridgewater, go!
Knackered, but it was phenomenal. Never get to do that again. So yeah, it's very special. Going up the Mall and coming up to Buckingham Palace. You just never beat that.
Hurting. Put hose in my shoes. Oh, what a ball we've had. We've had a fantastic time. I never thought I'd enjoy myself in Carnival quite so much. It's been a brilliant time. Wonderful occasion. The crowds was fantastic. And to come along the Mall and to approach Buckingham Palace, you know, step by step by step. Oh, what an experience that was.
Very happy. Yeah, no problems, no issues all the way round. Great reception for everyone on the crowd. Couldn't have gone better.
Oh, it was incredible. Shame that Liz wasn't there, but, you know, I just hope that everybody loved it. Dancers did incredibly well. Everybody just put 110% in. And I think as we came across the finish line, it was like a feeling that you'll never be able to explain ever again.
It was brilliant. It was amazing. Oh, going past Buckingham Palace. Oh, it's amazing. I want to know Bridgwater High Street, put it that way.
Words can't describe what just I don't know. I'll never do anything like that again. I can't really talk now because I'm nearly going to cry now. I don't want to.
We might split it out here and take it in 3 sections because there's not a lot of room in there for us to work. So if we can split it in 3 sections out here, take it in one bit at a time, it's quicker for us, easier for us.
That was an unbelievable experience. With the cart pulling back into the lineup and the cast getting changed and making their way back to their hotels or back to Somerset, it suddenly got very quiet in Horse Guards Parade. The costume team were quick as a flash to get everything loaded onto the van, and the team at Wheelers certainly weren't hanging around either. The cart is loaded up, everything is strapped down, and after the goodbyes were said, it's time to head back to Somerset. After arriving back in the county in the early hours of Monday morning, the cart is now parked up on the edge of Wilds Road in Bridgwater. It's now a case of getting everything unloaded, everything unpacked, put away, and to close the book on the Jubilee cart story. Until November.
You've had this answer before, but it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, it's never going to happen again.
Brilliant that all clubs are together and working together, and that's something I thoroughly enjoy.
But it's just nice to get involved with people from different clubs and see how they build and do things.
So we can do our bit and do it well, hopefully.
Because it does sound a little bit of a ridiculous mission.
Yeah, it is a little bit nerve-wracking.
It's a chance to show what we can do down here.
This is the biggest and the best, and we're very looking forward to it.
Like any carnival float, it's never on schedule.
You'll never get the opportunity to do it again, probably.
Lovely atmosphere. Amazing. I'm so proud of what the team have done.
I feel very honoured to be allowed to drive it.
It's like we had the best, at that moment in time, we had the best carnival club in the whole world. And everyone was watching us.